Hola chicos, this is your first distance learning instructional video. Today is el 20 de abril y vamos a aprender los participios pasados. Our lesson today is on past participles as adjectives. It is section Estructuras 5.3 from your current chapter, the third grammar section in your current chapter. And you can find it in your V-text, if you're using the V-text, en la página 179. So, past participles. Both English and Spanish have past participles. The past participles in English often end in ed, and people often, when they're learning Spanish, they confuse the past participles with the past tense, only because in English we form the past tense and the past participles in the same way. They look the same. For example, to boil, the verb to boil, in English, boiled is both the past tense and the past participle. As a past participle, for example, we could say the eggs are boiled. It's not the past tense. We're describing the eggs. In Spanish, however, the past participle is completely different from the past tenses. Past tenses, of course, are preterite and imperfect, and you learned them in Spanish 2 and reviewed them in Spanish 3. They are not interchangeable with past participles. Past participles can be used in a couple of different ways, but in this lesson we're focusing only on how to make them and how to use them as adjectives. So, how do we form past participles? Let's start with regular verbs, as we always do. For AR verbs, regular AR verbs, we are going to drop the AR and add ado. For example, reciclar. Our stem is recicle. After we drop the AR, we add ado, and our participle, our past participle, is reciclado. For the regular ER and IR verbs, to form the past participle, we drop the ER or the IR to isolate the stem, and we add ido. So the past participle for correr is corrido. For decidir, decidido. Let's give it a try. You can pause if you need to take a little bit of time. How would you complete this sentence with the past participle of perder? If you said, mi libro está perdido, you are correct. How about this sentence with the past participle of ordenar? You should have said, su cuarto no está ordenado. And this one, the past participle of conocer. Hopefully you said, este museo es muy conocido. As you can see, the past participle of regular verbs is pretty easy. Let's take a look at the past participles for irregular verbs. As so often happens in Spanish, these ones just need to be memorized. The past participle for abrir is abierto. I suggest that you say them after me. I'll give you a little pause to say them after me. Abrir, abierto. Decir, dicho. Describir, descrito. Descubrir, descubierto. Escribir, escrito. Hacer, hecho. Morir, muerto. You've seen that before. Poner, puesto. Resolver, resuelto. Romper, roto. Ver, visto. Volver, vuelto. Okay, now let's give it another try. Your turn. ¿Comprendiste? And again, you can pause it if you need to take a little more time. How would you complete this sentence with the past participle for escribir? The answer is, mi ensayo ya está escrito. Finish this question with the past participle of hacer. El desayuno está hecho is what you should have said. And complete this sentence with the past participle of romper. Este vaso está roto. So what do these sentences mean? Remember that we said that we are using the past participles as adjectives. So, mi ensayo ya está escrito means my essay is already written. Written describes my essay. El desayuno está hecho. Is breakfast done? Este vaso está roto. What do you think it means? This glass is broken. So, we were just taking a look at what those sentences mean, thinking about how we are using the past participles as adjectives. This is one use of past participles. Many of the adjectives that we use as participles that is, many adjectives that you already learned back in Spanish 1 and 2 and 3 also happen to be past participles. For example, divertido, aburrido, nublado, interesado, perdido. These are all adjectives you learned before this chapter that happen to be past participles. Like other Spanish adjectives, when past participles are used as adjectives, they must agree in gender and number with the nouns they describe. For example, la mesa está puesta. The table is set. Since that is describing the table, we have to make it feminine. Tengo muchos libros escritos en español. I have many books written in Spanish. Since escrito is describing libros, we have to make it plural. Now it's your turn putting together everything we've learned in these short 10 minutes or so. See if you can complete these sentences with the past participles and make sure they agree in gender and number. Las tiendas están cerradas. The past participle is cerrado, and then I make it feminine and plural to match tiendas. La ropa está lavada. Lavado is the past participle. Ropa is feminine, so I make it match in gender, lavada. You just saw this one a few minutes ago. La mesa está puesta is the table set. Puesto is the irregular past participle for poner, and I make it feminine to agree with mesa. And I see I made a mistake in spelling mesa in the answer. It should indeed be mesa, not mesta. Y finalmente, los cheques están firmados. Firmado is the past participle, and I make it plural to match. Well, that is it for today's lesson, chicos. You will have practice activities and the tutorial video assigned to you on the super site, and of course you can email me with questions, save questions for our Google Meet, or send me a help request on the super site. That's it for today. Have a great week. Hasta luego.